Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about the trucks and cars and SUVs and the dogs and the motorcycles and the landscaping. Hey, good morning there. Welcome to the channel if you're new, and appreciate you tuning in this morning. Good Friday morning. And wow, just the change of season here, where one day it's nice and warm and next day it's not so much. Back in the boots, got the coffee, a little warmer gear this morning. And hey, looky here, what have we been doing? Hey, get in the house and kind of get back into shape. I just have so ignored the property because I've been gone so much, taking care of family. And now we're on the project of getting it back to the to looking respectful. And look at the age of this home. This home here, so I put that front edition on, I put the back edition on. My brother and I built that front edition. The back edition, I helped another guy build that as well. And I just have added on this home over the years. But believe it or not, this home, I believe, is 1834. I believe the deed of the property, and whether you realize it or not, the parish used to live here. Is way up there. Way up there. If you look way up there, that there is part of a property. You can't see the maybe you can see that's an old church up there. So that's an old church, and apparently back in the day the parish lived in this home. That's what they've told me years ago. So isn't that interesting? The godly house, is that what it is? So the age of the home, I thought this morning we talk about today, and I thought, could we talk about the age of ignorance? Could we talk about the age of innocence? I mean, what is going on? Come on, look at the little girl here. She's just waiting to get to the barn. Come on, little baby, let's go. Come on, here we get to the barn. So let's take a walk over here. And projects, it's just projects. The trees are slowly coming out and blooming, and I lost a few trees, sadly, because I was gone, and nobody stayed on top of watering. But I don't think I lost that many. So all right, puppies, let's get going here to the office. It's a Friday, cool morning. It's kind of quiet, and it's an Easter weekend. So is it peace? Is there peace in the world right now because of Easter coming this weekend? Recognizing, is that what's going on? People a little more calm down. Come on, pups, let's go. Get in here. Power boost, just love this truck. I get a lot of people give me thumbs up and even compliment this truck as I drive around it. It's such a great truck. It really is. So my battery, I don't know what's going on with my tractor. So that's a project. That John Deere tractor up there. I mean, what a project. And it's so stupid to get the battery out. I have to take out the freaking headlights in the freaking tractor to get the battery out. Come on, Willow. Where's the Willow dog? Come on, boy. Come on. All right. Let's get going. I haven't talked all morning. Come on, Willow, just get in here. Let's go. Come on. Yes, I haven't talked all morning, and interesting. And so you're hearing my voice of anybody. You're hearing my voice get kind of going, which I'll probably end up clearing a few times. And hope you're not coughing and hacking as I drink my coffee here. So yeah, so what's the conversation today? I mean, it's always about trying to come up with some creative ideas and something that maybe intrigues you to listen to me talk, or maybe it's not so much and you turn the channel off very quickly. Come on, pups, let's go. Come on. Let's get up here and get the door closed and shut the window here. Come on, pups, let's go. And is it cool up here this morning? I got the fan on and everything. It was so warm out. I'm going to turn that off. I think I'm going to kind of close the window here and kind of try to get the office so warm. I got my fan on back here. Yeah, I mean, just night and day. From yesterday, 80s, hot. And get the morning routine going. Get this other window closed. Man, there's my old... Always wanted a Toyota Supra. Finally got one. That... just because of the financial hardships that I've incurred throughout my lifetime. Get my phone put down here without spilling my coffee. And so here we go. On the conversations, right? And, wow. Get that off. Jeez, there's too many little tasks, right? Got my John Deere hat on, and yeah. Kind of got a late start this morning, and haven't had breakfast, but that's all good. Let me get logged in here. See what's around the world. I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. I mean, I think some people think I do. I don't. I'm always working. There are so many projects for me to do. When you own your own company, I mean, it just doesn't end. You have this property, it just doesn't end. I mean, there's always something to do. There's not really, per se, time for you to just sit around and watch the news, which I don't want to do it anyways. Who the heck wants to be brainwashed? Brainwashing. Yeah, so anyway, so this morning I thought the age of ignorance, the age of innocence. I mean, in today's society, more than ever, I live on the roads. I just live on the roads. And I've been doing this since 1985. I mean, that's when I officially started driving around in a truck. And I started driving around in a car to have a job and to be employed. And just the driving aggression that I witnessed today compared to what it was 1985 through the 80s. There was crazy things going on back then. But, oh, my gosh, today... It's just beyond believable what I witnessed, especially younger kids. I mean, yesterday I had a little video I thought I'd be showing on my YouTube channel of a young kid crashing and burning his car that he drove up the road at 100 miles an hour in heavy traffic, just, cutting, left, right, left, just totally out of control. And... so I just thought to myself, wow, am I going to be able to film this? But I couldn't even stay with him. I mean, I would have to go drive like a maniac like him to even be able to film him. So, yeah, I'm going to go do that. So, but what is that? What is that young person? I think they just are clueless that if they get nailed, they're going to have a bad day because their license is going to be revoked possibly. I mean, there's so many variables. That the court system, the right lawyer, I understand that. Just because somebody does something, does that mean they're convicted? Not necessarily. Not where we are today. So the age, I just think to myself more than ever, age is really interesting how there was a whole article I read about the older generation, the age of someone like me who's been, this is no lie, I've been working now for 42 years. 42 years. And I've never ever have had some major vacation. Never. I never have. I've always have worked for the last 42 years. Now, just here in the last 5 years, I started taking time away from my business, but I wasn't away from the business. I just was somewhere else still running the business. And so I was never just on vacation of never having to work. Yeah, I'm not embellishing here. I'm not here to brag. I'm not here to cry on your shoulder. I'm just sharing. So this article I read talks about how the age of individuals, the older group of people, are the more sought after people to be hired. Wow. Well, hey, you youngsters out there, did you hear that? Wow. But it's interesting. I think my base of my channel is probably more of the 40s to 50-year-old base. I don't think I have much of a younger generation base. So that would be the analytics that they show on my YouTube channel. So all right. So before we get into all that, let's just talk about the age of the cars. I just think to myself more than ever that as time progresses, are you going to want the new Dodge Charger Daytona electric car, or would you rather have my Dodge Charger Red Eye? I mean, I think that majority of people watch my channel would say, I'll take that Dodge Charger Frostbite Blue Red Eye wide body all day long over that Dodge Charger vacuum cleaner. I mean, sincerely. So I think it's interesting as we progress, the older things are starting to be more attractive than the younger things. Wow. Yeah, it makes me think about relationships like Hugh Hefner. Yeah, all the young ladies hanging out with Hugh Hefner. Yeah, I wonder why, right? Yeah. I mean, you see this incredibly wealthy individual, a man. It goes for the women too, but a man is usually the most dominant thing. And you see this young lady. Yeah, I mean, everybody's, what's your thought? Yeah, we know. It's the money. It's the money bag. It's not, yeah, oh, it's his personality. And, it could be. I mean, that's true. I mean, older guys have some characteristics about them. So anyway, so I just think as time progresses, I think that we're going to witness an age of consumers wanting more of the old stuff than the new stuff. I mean, is that possible? I mean, if you look at Tesla just again has done another major discount across the board on all their vehicles. And so if you look at the numbers for Tesla, I haven't had coffee this morning, so I'm just now going to get my coffee going. So if you look at the numbers with Tesla, if you go to their Model X and their Model S, those are higher end cars, the Model X is $38,000 cheaper today than it was like a year ago. Wow. Elon Musk has discounted that car $38,000. He's I think discounted the Model S, the four-door big sedan. I think he's discounted that like $30,000. And then now you're into the Model 3 and the Model Y, and those vehicles, they've been discounted up to close to like $20,000 on their performance model. Wow. So just last year, you're talking 20% plus discounts, close to 30% in some aspects. $138,000 car that's now $108,000 or $100,000 or whatever. That's like a 30% discount just about. So for Elon Musk, what's going on? So Elon Musk, his claim is the recession is here, and he's very concerned about keeping the volume going in Tesla. So he's discounting the cars. And these are cars, if you know the Model S and Model X, these are age-old cars. That's the big criticism right now of Tesla's product line is he hasn't really, with the Model S, what's that platform now? 8, 10 years old now? And so the critics are saying that, for Elon, he's just holding out all the money and he's not updating his platform. But I guess at the same time, he'll say, well, yeah, but we're seeing incredible growth of the sales of our products. Why would we change anything? Which I can't deny. I can't disagree. I think there's a lot of people out there that would agree. I use the Toyota 4Runner as an example. That the Toyota 4Runner, for years, the followers of the 4Runner, they do not want Toyota to change that product. They love the age of that product. They love the way it's designed. And I say it all the time. I think the people that want the keyed ignition and just a real basic car is growing. I think that so many people just don't want the control factor of these cars. Because not only is the car being controlling you to a degree, but then the car is being controlled by the outside forces. Yeah, I mean, the information on that car is being shared. Yeah, you don't think that whoever manufactures that car, the Uconnect or the Ford Pass or whatever General Motors product it is, they don't think that they don't know everything about where that car is and what's going on with it to a degree. Yeah, who signed up for the insurance discount to plug in to your port in your car your driving habits? I mean, who signed up for that? Who fall for that gig? Hey, here, plug in this device, and you're going to get an insurance discount by us monitoring your driving habits. And if you're a good driver, then you're going to, get a. Sincerely, in this area I live, I don't know how you would accomplish that. You're the biggest a-hole in the world in this area if you followed the speed limits. Yeah, if you follow the speed limits in this area, especially around the Washington Beltway, and you're a problem. You're now the problem on the road because everybody moves so quickly. Yeah, you're looked like an old fart. Anybody's behind you would be thinking this is just some old person that can't see driving down the road that's going the speed limit. Yeah, you think I'm embellishing here? I'm not. It's bad. Anybody gets out here on the Beltway, you can tell they experienced regular commuters versus the ones that are not experienced because they don't understand the traffic flow and how aggressive people are. So anyways, for Tesla, what is Elon Musk trying to accomplish? For one thing for sure, he's destroying the other competitors. And what's so incredible, How long has Ford been around? Ford's been around for what now? Over 100 years? Yeah. I mean, is that right? I mean, I've even looked it up. But yeah. So for Ford, if you think about it, in versus Tesla, who has the age of experience? And yeah, in that scenario there, does that make any sense? That Ford maybe I don't even know. I haven't looked at their stock lately. Their stock's probably I'll say $12. What's Elon's stock? Elon's at $200. Yeah, the age of ignorance versus the age of innocence, right? I mean, and that's what I was saying earlier. Is do we live in an age of arrogance or an age of innocence? I mean, it can go both ways in my eyes, because you can call out so many people that they're just innocent victims of the current state of affairs that we live in, to be blindsided of what the reality is. I mean, could you just like people buy electric cars? Hello, wake up, hello. You buy an electric car, the reality of the age of ignorance of buying that. Yeah, you're pretty ignorant to buy that damn thing. Look at the value of the damn car now. Yeah, look at the value. And Elon Musk is ruining it. So in so many aspects, Elon Musk is creating my demise of my electric Mach-E, because he's given away his Teslas. Not really. I mean, the Teslas are still going to be a $50,000 car. 42 base. Get some things on it. Oh, here's the next thing. Ford has raised their hand. You're going to get a $3,750 tax rebate on the Ford Mustang Mach-E. You'll receive a $7,500 tax rebate on the Ford F-150 Lightning truck, because of all the components that are used in that truck have a stronger hold of the guidelines, so the new tax guidelines, for you to get a tax IRS rebate, or whatever you want to call it, tax deduction. So the Mach-E for 2023, you won't get that $7,500 tax credit. 2022 you did, because they didn't have the same criteria and credentials. And that new bill they've passed, it's irritating some of these foreign countries, but at the same time, the argument would be that these foreign countries are now bringing all their manufacturing to our country, because they can take advantage of the Inflation Reduction Act bill that's going to reward them by giving them tax monies and supplementing their infrastructure, and the money they're going to spend to build out their technology for the EV age, electrical vehicle age. And then the ICE age, which internal combustion engine age, yeah, that's the dying breed. That's the old age. Yeah, us ICE age guys, we'll be looked at as time goes on that you're the old age technology. But that's what I'm saying. I think that more than ever, we're going to be looking for the old age technology, because I think people are going to be more comfortable with it. They're going to be more in touch with it, more. You just feel like, I mean, getting in the gasoline car, like that Ford Power Boost, that thing is so neat. I can't emphasize enough. That now will go down as the nicest overall truck I've ever owned. The Power Boost. It's that hybrid gas. What is so cool about that truck, I work on my truck throughout the whole day, never turning it off now. Never turning it off. Because when I come to a stop to work out of the truck powers down, and only electric battery keeps all electronics on. So instead of having to fight the constant, anybody who has this technology in their cars, they all know when you get in and out of your car, how often does this damn thing disconnect from your Apple Play, and it doesn't connect to your car, so you lose your Apple Play on the navigation, or the phone isn't connected to the car. You're driving on the road, the phone's ringing. It's not through your hands free. The friggin' phone. I mean, it drives you nuts because it disconnects and reconnects. And so what I've learned over time is just leave the electronics on, and don't be constantly turning the truck off and on, because it's a constant fight with the technology. So this Ford Power Boost, oh my gosh. My voice is just crackly just because just getting going, and a long day yesterday isn't the GERD thing. It's just me getting my voice to get going, to get warmed up for the day of all my conversations, right? So, and drinking my coffee. Probably not the best thing, but I need my coffee. My GERD really hasn't been bothering me lately. It's weird. I've stopped taking a ton of vitamins I used to take all the time. Just this last 3 days, if not 4 days, I have just stopped taking all these damn vitamins. All the damn supplements, all this other stuff you take as you get older, you think you should take. And I'm not, and I mean, I could be wrong, but my freaking GERD has been like nothing like it usually is. And so you have to wonder what ingredients are in these vitamins that are irritating my GERD. And I've been drinking coffee, a lot lately, and I just haven't been having all this really GERD as I start hacking and coughing. In front of the video here any second, right? Probably. I'll jinx myself. But anyways, the Ford Power Boost, that truck, anybody out there that's on the fence to buying a truck right now, I'm going to tell you right now, the Ford Power Boost, that's the ticket. It really is. Because as I'm speaking to you, you're able to leave the truck on. I can go into the gas station, or I should say go into a store or whatever I do, and I'm not going to be gone that long, and you can remotely lock the truck. So the truck, but nobody knows the truck is running. That's what's so cool about it. The truck is, to most people, is off because it's making no noise. But all the electronics are still on. But then once you get back in the truck and you move it, the electric is pretty cool. In the Ford Power Boost, I've said this before, but apparently the generator, the electric motor, is in between the torque converter and a transmission to the engine. So it's just so cool. So basically you have in your transmission setup, here's your block, here's your transmission that plugs into it. Well, you typically have a torque converter right here to control the energy and to save things from being damaged. And then now Ford put an electric motor in between the torque converter and the transmission. So you've got two components here, so that electric power is directly tied right into your transmission right there. So that truck is so powerful. I mean, when I drive that truck now, when I go drive something else, it's not the same. It's underpowered. And that's what I said the other day. I drove my Ford Bronco the other day, and it was like, this thing's so underpowered. And the problem is because that new Ford Power Boost has such instant torque that pushes you back, and the truck just jerks, that now when I drive something else, it's like the truck is lame. I drove that Ram 3500 the other day, pulling that trailer, and I'm like, this truck doesn't feel like it has any more power than my Power Boost. I'm even myself, I'm like, no way. It's like, come on. I'm not lying to you. That Ford Power Boost will pull just as damn good as that Ram 3500. People are like, no. I'm like, it will. It will. No, it's not going to be able to pull the 15,000, 16,000 pounds, but it's going to pull 10,000, 12,000 pounds all day long. All day long. So the Ford Power Boost, I can't emphasize enough. Nicest. In the F-150 Tremor truck, prior to this, was my favorite all-time truck ever. But now, no way. So it's incredible how that Ford Raptor truck that started getting lousy gas mileage, that did me a favor. In life, if you've been around long enough, if you're the age, isn't it incredible how things happen in your life? And initially you're kind of like, yeah. But then as time goes on, it's like, wow, that was a blessing. A blessing. Relationships, things you've purchased, jobs. The list goes on and on and on, where you're like, wow, that really played out. Pray for a miracle. I can't emphasize enough. Anybody here watch my channel, you got to pray for a miracle. You really do. Here's a great story. Here's a good friend of mine that works for me, that's older than me, and he works for me, and he's just a great guy. And I just can't emphasize enough that when I say that, he's a part-time guy that I've had around for no lie for now like 21 years. And he's like 65 years old, and he's a worker. And so he got notice here 2 months ago that the house he lives in is rented for 7 years. He's going to be evicted because the father that owned the property died, and the son and daughter wanted to cash out of the house, so they're going to sell it in May. And so now he's he's only paying like $1,000 a month for this house that makes his life, very accommodating for 7 years. Now he's like freaking out if he can even get a mortgage. And so sure enough, I'm like, oh my gosh, man, is my buddy going to be out in the streets? What do I got to do to try to help him out? So anyways, I said, start praying for a miracle, man. This is so cool. This guy was able to get a mortgage, able to find a house up the street. Now he's going to own a home. And for $1,700 a month, real estate taxes, insurance, he owns his own home. Because if you figure out 7,000 times 12 is $84,000, 1,000 times 12 is $12,000 a year in rent to this other person. Times 7 is $84,000. So he spent $84,000 the last 7 years he'll never ever see again. If he spends $84,000 in a house he bought, the odds are he'll get that money back. He won't lose it. And the odds are there's being a nice homes and other development around that home, so it's only going to go up in value over the next 10 years. So pray for a miracle. I mean, I'm just telling you. And he'll tell you, it's like, yeah, the ice guy told me years ago, just pray for a miracle. Just pray for a miracle. Just don't give up. Don't give up. Us aged people, us people of age, I mean, I think we kind of have some credentials here, or do we? Yeah, I can understand. And that's the challenge that we live in today, in today's society, is a lot of the older people don't want to go along with all this change and these radical ideology that's going on around us. But the younger people look at us like we're a bunch of fruitcakes. But then the older people look at the younger people like they're a bunch of fruitcakes. But hey, let's just all start smoking pot and it'll be okay. Let's just keep on passing pot laws. And it's incredible. More than ever, my daughter and I, we're out. We'll see people walking down the street all the time, smoking pot. And it's like, I mean, what are the police going to do? I mean, what is law enforcement more than ever just kind of doesn't want to participate in this stuff anymore? I mean, sincerely, I don't know. It seems like, wow. Yeah, a lot of these police officers retired early. Yeah, why'd they get out of the workforce? But here's the thing. So what spurred the age conversation this morning? Well, what spurred it was that believe it or not, my age group and older are the sought after workers by employers right now. Wow. It's not the young generation. They're not satisfied with the work ethic of the younger generation. Wow. So my age group and older, we have much better discipline and much better work ethic than the younger generation. Now, what's driving that, right? I believe that. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, I had one key guy that worked for me back in the 90s that was a key older guy, that great guy that helped me do a lot of manual labor work. You'd never believe this guy was 70 years old digging ditches with me and pouring concrete and pulling phone lines and pulling electrical. And just a great friend of mine. And this guy was just a workhorse. I mean, I'm not lying. I mean, just about one day, he just about passed out on a 100-degree day. The wife wasn't happy about that. But I did. I mean, I knew how to but oh my gosh, my dad, same thing. My dad would go out with me on jobs. This is 10 years ago. My dad's 91 years old. My dad, 80, 81, 82, 83. I mean, he's out there digging ditches with me and pouring concrete. Even to the point that there's Mexicans at this one location we're at one day. They're all looking over at my dad and looking at me like, what the heck is going on here? This older guy here is doing all the heavy work, or that young gun guy's not doing so much. Yeah, the Mexicans came over to my dad, and they looked at him like, hey, my dad just loves to work. Yeah, I mean, that's just who he is. I mean, he's a worker. So here's what's interesting. Here's the tech industry. This is what's crazy. Back when I got going in my career, and I have walked in and out of so many doors. I have walked in and out of thousands of businesses. Somebody okay, I've walked out of 10 businesses, all right? That's how I got where I am in life. I walked in and out of 10 doors of businesses and cold called. I didn't spend the whole day of my life opening a phone book and making cold calls, and the list goes on and on and on. But here's the point. I said years ago, it's a 2040 work week. 2040 work week. Who came up with the 8-to-5 work week? I mean, in the business world, especially the white collar, don't get me wrong, there's people out there that put in 8-hour, 10, 14-hour days. I get all that. But in general, it's the old 80-20 rule. It's the old 20% do 80% of the work, and the 80% don't do the work. Yeah, we know these stories, right? But I said years ago that the average person works half a day. Yeah, the average person works half a day, and especially in the white-collar environment. And the reason I bring this up is there's a whole article this morning in the Wall Street Journal about how these techie people are raising their hand and point blank admitting that they work in a culture where they don't work. They sit around most of the time. They don't do anything. And now it's being disclosed more than ever. If you wonder why Elon Musk got rid of most of the Twitter people, let me share with you what he probably understood that most people don't, even myself. But I've heard these stories. We realize or not. I've heard these stories of people that work that don't have much to do all day. And so what's going on is, what the conversations are, these people they're disclosing is that they were hired just to be hired. And they were hired in some ways to be controlled from maybe working somewhere else with their talents. Yes, this is so true. So there's a ton of tech people out there that are raising their hand going, I was hired, and it seems as if they only brought me in to the organization so I couldn't maybe go work somewhere else to be bigger and better that would maybe then take away from their organization. Yeah. And there's so many people that are raising their hands saying that they were hired, that they were supposed to manage other people, but they never even ever managed any other people. They just basically attended meetings and logged in and logged off and put in maybe 3 hours a day of work. I mean, wow. But apparently there's been 168,000 tech layoffs. Didn't say what the time frame was, but I'd have to assume over the last year. But I go back to the saying 2040. Is that I saw 40 years ago, I'd say 30 years ago, about how people don't put in 40-hour work weeks. And I'm not here to be critical of anybody here watching my channel. I'm just sharing information when I read. And I'm just sharing from my own personal experience of being out in the field and seeing what goes on in the workforce. And don't get me wrong, the guy who drives a truck all day long, that guy's putting in long hours. The guy that works on a construction crew, and then there's white collar jobs too, where you're glued behind these computers. But it's just where society is, right? So with the cars, what about the cars? What do my cars say about me? If all these cars could speak, they'd be like, hey, this guy buys us, but he doesn't even use us that much. Yeah. If my motorcycles and cars and trucks could talk, they'd be like, yeah, this guy freaking brings us on, but then he fires us. He gets rid of us. Yeah, if every car could have a conversation that lived in my shop, that got used X amount of time, but then only was taken away to be put somewhere else, and then in the real world of having to work, yeah, wouldn't that be classic? The car would be like, I had it made. I just sat in this nice covered barn all the time and was taken care of, and I was appreciated. Now that same car is just somebody else that's sitting out in the street, trashed, driven hard, driven to the ground, no respect, right? Yeah, the stories of the robots, is that where it's all going with artificial intelligence, where somebody are raising their hand and saying we need to shut down artificial intelligence, but then the other sector is saying it'll be all right. It's going to be all right, right? The age of ignorance, the age of innocence. Where are we? Where are we today more than ever in society? And like I say, I think both are prevalent from so many aspects. All right, everybody. Hey, the projects continue. The freaking landscaping project. Major project here ahead of me to do all the labor with the kid. And the kid's doing her thing. And she's really excited. My daughter just loves to be hands-on. She just loves using her hands. She really does. She's mechanically skilled to a degree. And she's learning more and more. And which is really cool. I think it's incredible. Anybody young that's out there watching my channel, to have plumbing skills, to have electrical skills, to have landscaping skills, to have labor skills, it'll never fail you in your lifetime. The technology is so rampant today, and that's a concern, that the artificial intelligence is going to take away the tech sector and jobs. So anybody young out there, I'm going to tell you what, if you can get yourself motivated to be more of the hands-on type of business person, it's huge. And the money that's out there for you to take care of others that don't want to do this stuff, it's massive. Property maintenance, it's massive. Oh my gosh. And if you can get a name following, and if you become an electrician, a plumber, these are all driving a truck. driving a truck, somebody like, yeah, but you don't realize that your experience of driving a truck may evolve you as you get older into being a person that's behind the seat of a computer that manages trucks, but you understand the dynamics of living on the road behind a truck for so long that gives you those higher skills of your video quality time as well to manage a fleet of trucks remotely. But you have the road skills and the street smarts of doing that. So start at the base to work yourself up. I mean, wow. All right, but hey, I appreciate everybody support my channel. I really do. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Hope everybody watches my channel, enjoys my conversations. And I just kind of keep it going because I enjoy to talk and share my views and ideas. So everybody, stay tuned for more adventures. I didn't really bring up about how the electric cars and the used car market. And I tell you what, I'm seeing a lot of these used cars that I've looked at. Oh, my Ford F-150 Lightning truck, it's now 5 months that I ordered. Kuhn Ford, it's now 5 months sitting on the dealer's lot. 5 months. Now, you go back to June of last year, when these things started hitting the market, that thing wouldn't last a day. Yeah, it's the age of innocence, of ignorance merged together. Yeah. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay safe, and God bless.